Welcome to In the Mushroom, a celebration of the mystical experience delivered through nature's entheogenic offerings. I was gazing up at the trees, these beautiful evergreens, and it was just light rain. And they started to speak to me. And so this comes in full rhyme, unedited. And so this was the first of four pieces that came in while I was standing by the river. And so I called this a heads up from the trees. We shower you with hues of green. We create a stirring scene. We stand here and watch you all, and as the season moves to fall, we ready now for winter's sleep, when our roots that plumb earth deep absorb telluric frequencies, so we can gather energy and cycle into spring anew, resplendent in the morning dew. Elements of living sculpture, we inspire many cultures. We stand tall as the world tree. In us lives the mystery. Come to us, and we will teach you. People, hear us, we beseech you. Do not take our folk for granted. Just because we're easily planted doesn't mean we'll quickly grow, and to you our fruit bestow. You are told, respect your elders. This is also true of alders and the oak and evergreens, the great old trees that once were seen and beheld with humbled awe, vast sculptures that were without flaw, then sadly felled with axe and saw. You think we'll be here for always, ever treated to displays of fruits and greens for all of you, but we will say, that's just not true. The casual attitudes of today take us for granted, we're afraid. How easily we are cut down, the tragic sight when we hit ground. Displaced are many creatures small, who look for shelter in our tall, inviting trunks and branches strong. They know it's here that they belong. The forest is a library. It's home to many you can't see, a delicate menagerie of living beings magically connected to a wondrous web that spans the earth so all are fed. These forests found from north to south, providing food for many mouths, are canopies that must be held with greatest care, not greedily felled. Take time away from all the toys. Spend some time with we who are being destroyed by the gloating corporate fools who look to us as simply tools and miss the mark entirely. Their metal monsters storm our trees and scar the land deplorably and proudly plant their frankenseeds. This steep fall in the mind of man must be fixed if it possibly can, for this charade cannot last long, as steadily the birds whose song imparts a sound field for the earth begins to fade, till there's a dearth of birds and insects and much more, till only silence greets your door, and that is when good hearts will break. Man's coarse inventions you'll forsake. And so that was the first message I received, yes, just standing there by the trees with open heart. And this is how I have always approached the mushroom. I try to be out in nature as often as I can, and I open my heart to all the spirits out there, because all of our ancestors all around the world knew nature is alive, and there is both the world of the seen, which we're in, and the worlds of the unseen. And so I open my heart to them, and I sit at the feet of these wisdom beings whom I cannot see, but I can feel. And of course, I can see the trees. I know those are the ancient sages. This comes in, and I received these beautiful messages out here by the Ho River. And this was October. Then I was silent for a while, and I was just listening to the sound of the water and just taking in the beauty. And more words came in. And so I call this one Winter Calls. And they said, "It's time to rest in quiet slumber. Our leaves disappear in number. As one cycle closes door, prepare to enter season 4. Winter calls you to take note of how fast you move and rote. You too must slow down at times. Immerse yourself in peace sublime. But sadly man's forgotten all. Mankind ignores the daily call to follow cycles ancient old. Our kin once did what they were told. As they observed the natural world, they understood one would be hurled into a hell if they ignored the ancient wisdom that was stored in nature's bounteous offerings, that when beheld made good hearts sing. The corporate spell now takes its toll, enslaving planet Earth's their goal. In ignorance, man suffers and toils. In contract trickery, he's embroiled. Nature seeks to break the spell. Inside the mind is where it dwells. The corporate mindset is a trick. It's hoped you'll wake within the nick of time before you've lost it all because you ignored nature's call. And so, for winter's slower time, we ask you ponder this short rhyme. Slow down your rushing to and fro, to rest and let your worries go. Sit outside beneath a tree. Let your harried mind be free. Let your body slowly breathe, protective barriers unsheathed. Open your heart and let it swell, as we provide you with the well whose wisdom waters nourish you and lead you into what is true. Nature's calls you must now heed. She provides the food that feeds your bodies and your hearts and minds. The spell you're in, she will unbind. I received that, and then I just continue to stand and feel myself just showered with, of course, when we take the mushroom, our senses are just heightened, and so I'm standing in essentially a kind of beauty frequency. And then at one point, of course, because my 2 ladies were inside journeying, and I could see them through the huge picture window, just all tucked under their blankets. My attention went to them, and this came in, and it was, again, this being speaking to the 3 of us ladies working together, and I call this one 3 sisters, and so they said, 3 sisters from a time long past, whose expertise and old arts vast, come once again to greet the magic. In this time the loss so tragic, so few people remember the art, and so 3 sisters will impart remembrance of old occupations that are stored within their nations. Through the medium of the fungi, in the ethers your souls will fly. In that moment we'll come in to take your hand and help you spin a different kind of revolution, giving insight to solutions. You can bring to those around you women's wisdom offered that's true. In your minds, that's where you'll go, to distant worlds you'll see below the surface, and your travels will produce for you a kind of pill, a pill whose side effects uplift, a pill, your wisdom that you'll gift. We will bring to you today a knowing that will show the way. The veils are lifting rapidly as we call seers old to see, and weave threads of this mystery, so in your minds you will be free. For in the mind is found this show, Once you grasp that, then you'll know. And with those thoughts that are your wands, you will begin to move beyond the herd of folk who will not see. You will form a strategy of how to break an ancient spell, so you do not drown in the well of ignorance that blankets earth. The time is now for you to birth a new awareness held in mind, for that's the place where you will find your way to others of like mind, where we await you, old friends kind. Sisters, now, open your hearts. The forest here will help you start. Today your lessons will begin, and with your cards you'll start to spin. Your magic, oh, it's very strong. Together now to sing a song whose notes will form a harmony, and others round you will receive. Dears, we ask you to believe that we are here to help conceive a different kind of earthly magic that ensures we stem the tragic happenings so common now. At this time, we'll teach you how to call upon the wisdom here. Know that we are always near, found outside in nature, dear. Awaken now, ye ancient seers. And finally, I'll finish with this. This was the last piece that came in, and this piece is very special to me. I was by then just overcome with gratitude for having eyes to see and ears to hear in that moment, and for having found my way to the mushroom, this beautiful ancient teacher. And so I call this one By the River with the Fae. And so I just started speaking to these spirits, my own voice, and I was looking at the Ho River flowing past me. The water flows here by and by. This gracious stream makes my heart fly. The birds so sweet here in the trees, their song, it does set my heart free. The sound of water rushing by, the kind that's easy on the eyes. Oh, how I love to stand today and greet the spirits called the Fae. I feel you here upon this land, as I stand here extended hand, calling you, good spirits wise. I ask you, help me open eyes to this great power I behold. I feel myself held in the fold of your embrace, so sweetly kind. Standing here, I feel my mind is soothed for now, my worries past, and I can open heart at last. So many shades I see of green, so numerous I've never seen, the leaves beginning shifting hue. It's almost time to bid adieu, as fall begins its soft goodbye, and winter beckons by and by. And then the response from the Fae, the changing seasons showing you that like the mind we can construe. And so, dear, what we say is true, that winter comes to we and you. And though it may feel frightful cold, you must know now that this is old. And though your heart, it bears the burden of the suffering and the hurting, know, dear, as you've wisely said, you cannot quiet the dead. The light, it lives through thick and thin, and in this game 'twill surely win. Of course it must, so trust us here, we will make this very clear. Feel the wind caressing you. Yes, we know that you feel blue, but remember, just as we, seasons pass, and then you're free. And so let fall do what it will. Let go your troubles, wait until the winter comes to help you grow. This year may even see some snow, and then the spring will call you dear. With new beginnings, do not fear, for that's the time when he'll come near. And then 2 ships will nicely steer to new directions not yet known, for 2 good souls who have quite grown. And for your ladies lying there, They too will become aware that in them lives the fairy magic. They've the keys to lift the tragic spell of loss of memory. Those good women they will see. As you scry upon the water, watch the movement, lonely daughter. Watch the way the raindrops fall. Take it in, dear, watch it all. It forms for you the information understood within your nation. Watch transfixed, and we will show the water, it does swiftly flow. At every corner, many changes as the water rearranges. No, dear, we won't give the answer. Though you know this earth has cancer, we can't tell you 'twill be healed. Doesn't matter if you kneel, we no more have that answer, dear, than those great monsters that you fear. We simply know that things must flow, and one season must end and go, and then another comes to be, and like you we will wish it free. We stand and rise and greet the sun and greet the moon and everyone, from birds to the four-legged ones. And so, good daughter, it's not done, for many are arising here as situations become clear. That, dear one, will help to steer the climate that is run on fear into a place of clarity, where more and more begin to see the beauty of what could be lost, of what could be a long-lived frost. And so, bright poet, standing there, we feel, we sense you clearly care. Drink deeply of this forest nation, and then share the situation. We'll just say that you might be quite pleasantly surprised to know that we have friends in awfully high positions, and the powers that be here and now, they might just be a switchin'. That's our little ear to ear, as we whisper so you'll hear. And so, dear poet, take this beauty, hold it close, that is your duty. As you see the gray clouds change, no blue skies will rearrange. So many forces active now, you cannot imagine how. But winds of change, dear, have a way of surprising even they. Trust in us, the ancient ones, you, good daughter of the sun, for this new age it has begun, and shine we will, we're far from done. That was my mushroom experience in the Hoh rainforest, standing among the spirits of the forest with extended hand and heart open, and at that point just beaming. And my ladies, by the way, journeying and in their own beautiful worlds of experience. And then it felt complete. And then I just walked to the porch and I sat in one of the chairs and I just, as many of us love to do, right? When we're in a beautiful place, I just watched the trees, just blowing in the wind and just seeing them as this just single body, just absolutely beautiful. And in a place where, you're safe, you don't have to sort of pull in your energy field, just completely open to the wisdom and the kindness and the sweetness of that forest. And so I'm ever grateful that I can connect in that way. And I feel in a way like, in that moment, I was an emissary for the magic of nature, and that I can then not only, share a very profound journey, but share these beautiful messages. So there you are. That's a very, very special experience for me.